It just never stops. The Montreal Canadiens are now officially back in a playoff spot on the back of a clutch Jake Evans goal, plus some incredible saves from Samuel Montembeault in one of the biggest bounce-back performances this year. Newhook with the snipe, Slafkovsky even getting in on the play. Lane Hutson ties an NHL record, but it doesn't just end there. It doesn't just end with Montreal now being only 1 point back of third in the Atlantic. We also got some updates from across the pond over in Russia, where Ivan Demidov pulled off one of the sickest goals of the entire KHL season, not to mention also getting a no-look assist in the game, as he is on pace to shatter the record for most points ever in a player's under 20 season in the KHL. We got a ton of stuff coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. Guys, welcome in. Let's get right into this. We got to talk about the game. We'll get to Demidov in a bit because there's some more to that highlight that I want to show you guys. Holy crap, some crazy stuff. But we got to talk about this game. This is what we're all hyped up about right now. Leave some love down below. Leave a like on the video if you like the result of this game. I love the result of this game. Everyone loved the result of this game. It's always great to get revenge on the Tampa Bay Lightning after the 2021 final. The Boo Birds were out for Nikita Kucherov tonight for good reason. But my gosh, there were so many good things that happened in this game. Patrick Laine getting 2 points. Like Slafkovsky scoring another goal. He's been on a roll. He's a guy whose stats I haven't actually even really looked at since the new year. Second half Slafkovsky is certainly seeming to be a thing. But I want to start with our boy, the Lane train, because Lane Hutson himself is, well, I mean, look, we already know he's making a name for himself. He's probably going to win the Calder Trophy right now. He is an incredible force on the best team in the NHL over the past month. That's right. I got some stats to back that up in a bit. Don't you worry. But let's get right into exactly what he did, because tonight, with his assist on Juraj Slafkovsky's goal, he has tied Shane Gosse. I know that's a weird name, but, Gosse's a fine player, but not the kind of guy that you'd picture having this kind of record. I tied Gosse Ghost for the longest ever assist streak for a rookie defenseman at 9 games. Now, the all-time point streak by a rookie defenseman, it's also Gosse. That's 15 games. That's probably coming in the future, but regardless, to tie an NHL record again tonight is just unbelievable as we look at him again. 1 assist tonight, 2 block shots, even had a hip check on Nick Paul, playing over 20 minutes. Unbelievable stuff for Hutson, but I have some more to show you. Here, this is from StatMuse. Go follow StatMuse. Go follow Canadiens Muse. Go use StatMuse. I use them a ton. Like, they're unbelievable. This is not sponsored or anything. I wish they'd sponsor me. I'd love to do that for StatMuse. However, I want you to look at this. Most points per game by a defenseman in the new year, in 2025, since January 1st. Who's leading the way? But Lane Hutson, 1.33 points per game since January 1st. He's leading the league, higher than Shea Theodore, higher than 2 of the likely Norris candidates in Zach Werenski and Quinn Hughes, and even higher than Nashville Predators captain Roman Josi. He's the only defenseman, or these are the only defensemen above a point per game since that January 1st mark. And a lot of this is not just because of Lane Hutson's astonishing play, his ability to create rushes out of nowhere. Of course, we saw him play a part in that Slafkovsky goal in last game. We saw him today again play a part, passing it down to Laine, who gave it to Slav. There was some great stuff there. But Montreal's offense in general has really been an incredible engine. Again, thanks in large part due to Lane Hutson, but also thanks to their depth scoring as well. We're getting a ton of energy from every line. And when I say their offense has been good, it's better than you think, right? Where do you think Montreal ranks in terms of goals for per game since, say, the middle of December, right? That's what we're talking. We're roughly in the past month. Well, you'd think maybe top 10, this team's winning a lot, right? That was my assumption. But during the broadcast, they showed something interesting, and I had to go check it myself. Again, this is sourced from StatMuse. They're number 1. Since December 17th, this is including tonight, by the way, the Montreal Canadiens have scored the most goals per game by any team with 3.65 goals per game since December 17th, the last 1 month and 4 days. Number 1 in the NHL. Not only number 1 in goals for per game, they're number 1 in points percentage as well. They got 13 wins, 3 losses, and 1 overtime loss. Of course, that one coming in the shootout to Dallas since December 17th. That's insane. Like, that is crazy to me, right? Of course, we had a loss to Chicago in there. Of course, that loss to the Leafs, whatever, and a collapse to Columbus. But that's it. That's it, right? A third period collapse. You take those losses to the Leafs on the chin, whatever, you move on. And a loss to Chicago where their goalie stood on their head. So here's the thing. Montreal is overall just doing insane. Again, this is helping Lane Hutson, and Lane Hutson is helping the team. But Hutson setting these records, all these things happening at once is something completely unprecedented, at least for me, for Montreal. I didn't expect their offense to be this good. So just wanted to show that to you. But there's a few other things I got to get into in this. So I'm actually going to flash the highlights up again. Again, Owen Beck had a decent game today, but we got to talk about Jake Evans. My gosh, does he ever just score the prettiest goals, the most clutch of goals. Jake Evans is so phenomenal. Him and Montembeault tonight were just so good. And let's take a look at that box score again. So Monty, again, 33 saves on 35 shots. Again, after that Leafs game, everyone was kind of like, let's give Dobeš the next start, right? We were all talking about Dobeš getting that next start. What did he do? Well, he let in 4 goals against the Rangers, but he got the win. And at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. And Monty didn't have a great start Saturday. Dobeš didn't have his best on Sunday, still goes to 5-0. I think everyone was well, not everyone, most people were predicting Dobeš would get this start against the Lightning. But Marty was like, no, we're going back to Monty. And what did he do? He showed up and he stood on his head. He was unbelievable. He saved the game for this team tonight on multiple occasions. There were some moments once again, as still the biggest knock I have for this Habs team is the amount of slot attempts that they give up and amount of useless turnovers that they have. Not that there's any turnover that's not useless, I suppose, but there's a lot of dumb turnovers and there's a lot of slot chances. But tonight, Monty really bailed them out. I mean, Montreal didn't have very many shots. Tampa played a pretty smothering defensive game, and that's why I'm giving Sam Montembeault the Mitchell Stevens Player of the Game Award. That's right. If you don't know what the Mitchell Stevens Player of the Game Award is, well, you should. Mitchell Stevens, by the way, had a point in his last game for the Seattle Kraken. That's right. He's back in the NHL. He's not in Coachella Valley anymore. I'm going to give you occasional Mitchell Stevens updates. Game you stick. You guys know what it is. Leave some Mitchell Stevens love in the comments. We love to give some love to those more obscure Habs legends. But Monty was phenomenal. Evans, so good. Nearly had an empty netter as well. And as always, really good on the penalty kill. As Montreal went 4-0 on the penalty kill today, which was huge. A lot of bad penalties again. Bad penalties, a lot of slot chances. Didn't kill them because their penalty kill was really good. And Monty stood on his head. Of course, we got to talk about the goals as well, though. Again, we're going to roll this. Evans, phenomenal. We saw this a bunch. We got to sit through these to see the other goals because that's just the way the highlights work here in these videos. But Evans was so good. Monty was unbelievable. But the big things here tonight, Slafkovsky continuing to get back on track, and Alex Newhook, our boy Newy, with that absolute snipe. Hold on. Let's see if I got this. Oh, I don't have the Newhook animation here. That's okay. Newhook with the snipe, and Slafkovsky with the short side shot. Slavzilla, he's been rolling recently. Of course, a goal now in back-to-back games. That top line is looking legitimately. Now, this is a power play goal, to be fair, assisted by Hutson and Line. But Slafkovsky has looked unbelievable recently. He's winning a lot more board battles. He's playing a lot stronger. He's getting more goals. He's getting to the dirty areas, and it's paying off big time. Armia thought I had a good game. There's a lot of guys I could talk about. Line, again, our boy Line, another great game, 2 assists. So overall, look, I mean, I could just talk about what happened in the game for the rest of this video, but a lot of you guys saw it, and I think we're all just absolutely thrilled with how this is going right now. Just one little final thing. Before we get into Demidov, I want to talk about the standings. So this right now is the playoff standings. Montreal is now at 52 points. They're tied with Ottawa, but Ottawa has the tiebreaker on Montreal. So Ottawa is now in that first wildcard spot. But Montreal and Ottawa have both played one fewer game than the Boston Bruins, which is why they are above them in the standings. So, there you go. We have 3 teams there at 52 points. Columbus at 51, New York and Philadelphia at 50. We got 6 teams here within 2 points of each other for these wildcard spots. It's intense right now. This 4 Nations break is going to be much needed for a lot of these teams. However, if you look at just the Atlantic Division, Montreal and Ottawa are now both just 1 point back at Tampa. Tampa losing back-to-back nights to the Leafs and the Habs has really hurt them in the standings. We're talking Montreal's only 5 points back from the Florida Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champions now. This is getting insane. Now, the Ottawa Senators have also got hot right at about the same time as the Montreal Canadiens, but they lost today. They lost to the Rangers. So right now, Montreal is right on the cusp of even jumping up as far as 3rd in the Atlantic. They can do that on Thursday if things fall the right way. That's insane to think about. So I just had to show you guys that. Leave some love for this team down below, but it doesn't stop there. We still got to talk about Ivan Demidov. If this right here is the list of under 20 or basically age 19 seasons in the KHL in terms of best seasons ever. Now, there are actually some age 18 seasons that would be here in like 5th. They'd be just below Demidov. I think Ilya Tolvanen is the best age 18 season with like 36 points or something like that. But for age 19 seasons here, this is what matters. Ivan Demidov legitimately has a chance to be the number 1 guy. He has 37 points in 45 games. Another 2 points today after he's been getting more and more minutes. He's been getting multi-point games like they're nothing, right? He has one of the best points per 60 rates of all time for the KHL, and he's a 19-year-old. Right now, all he needs is 5 more points the rest of the season. Of course, Kaprizov got 42 points in 49 games. Michkov at 41 and 48. Don't forget, though, Demidov's average time on ice, I'm not kidding, is like 5 to 7 minutes less per game than everyone else you see on this list. He's averaging 12 minutes a game this season, and he's still got all this. But Just these words aren't going to convince you of anything. Let's roll the highlights again. This is one of the filthiest goals I've ever seen, and Demidov is pulling this out every single game. These filthy, look at this. This is just poetry in motion right here. That sick D, I can't even explain it. Look at this, and the chip over the goalie's pad, chips it off the pad and into the net. But it's not just that, look at this. A blind, no-look cross-ice assist. Now, there is a better angle of that I probably could have taken on that cross-ice assist. I couldn't find it again when I was trying to get this video, but he's looking at the goalie the whole time. And one thing I want you guys to look at on this cross-ice assist as it starts to play after this beautiful goal that we're all going to watch together again. Watch how the defenders come to him. All 4 of the shorthanded defenders are going right towards Ivan Demidov. And that's right. He's getting power play time now, which is something he really didn't get all season, which is helping him get more and more points. He is the best player on this team. He just straight up is the best offensive player on this team, and he is a future Montreal Canadien next year. It's insane. He's going to break the under 20 scoring record for the KHL. And I think he's primed to be a superstar from day one. There is, like, Demigod, do I have that? I don't have that. I got to bring these into the solo overlays. You know, without Jesse here, sometimes the animations don't come in. But unreal stuff. What a day to be a Habs fan. That's going to do it for this episode. Leave some likes, comments, all that stuff down below. By the way, you made it this far into the video. 11 minutes, guys. I'm just going to ask you, you know what number I'm going to ask you to leave in the description, in the comments down below. It's always what I ask you if you stay to the end of the video. And I do read them, and I see all you who stay, and it really, really means the world to me. Thank you all for watching so much. I've been your host, Josh Gosse. I'll catch you in the next one.